the hope, the hope, the hope of Tunisia, Esperance de Tunis, Esperance de Tunis. Finally, North Africa takes a dub in the tournament. Okay, so we had Esperance de Tunis versus LAFC, and can I just say, a little disappointing from LAFC. And I'm going to say that the reason is Seattle had a very hard group. And I honestly think they overperformed in some cases. I think against Atleti they were very poor. Against Botafogo they were very good. Just needed a little bit more quality to push it through. And now they're going to play PSG. Inter Miami is a retired group of players. We all know that. We know that they're not very good. We didn't expect them to be very good. And here they are overachieving by beating Porto. And I guess tying to Al Ahly, because really they should have lost that game as well. And then that brings in LAFC. And LAFC were just poor. Makes me really wish that America had come through. If America had gone through, I feel like, one, the fans would have shown up. LAFC, every single LAFC game was empty. Every single one. I guess Inter Miami are playing only the game at home. Inter Miami had a crowd too, but the Inter Porto was alright. But LAFC just disappointing overall. Fans disappointing. Performances were disappointing. I think they were a lot better than they showed out to be. I guess against Chelsea they did what they could. I don't see them doing anything against Flamengo. But this would have been their chance against Esperance to show something. And I guess they did. I know now I'm talking about highlight ball because I only watched bits and pieces of the game. I mean, we can't watch every single game, can we? You know? How many hours of my life would I give up if I watched every single game, every 2 hours? Oh my goodness. You know, what would I do? But I did see bits and pieces. And when I did see it, Esperance looked more in control of the game. They looked like they had control of the game, of the ball. They were creating more chances. And LAFC would just counter and they'd come back, hit them hard. But that doesn't mean that LAFC didn't create good chances, because they had more than enough chances to put it away. They had more than enough chances to get something out of this game. And so did Esperance. And I guess that's the difference between quality sometimes and when I've seen it in this tournament. Because physically, I think the gap is a lot smaller between a lot of these different leagues and a lot of these different players, right? So they're being able to... There's no gap as far as the science aspect of it, right? Just because you play in Europe doesn't mean you're fitter anymore. I think quite the contrary now. I think genetics plays a role more than anything now. And at the end of the day, everyone has access to the newest scientific research and everybody is the fittest at that fit professional level, you know? So then quality comes into play. And that next gap, I guess, becomes passing and positioning. Which is that next gap where you see the next top teams. I think they really do that well. And I think a team like Esperance and even LAFC, they got that aspect, right? That down. Then the next one is efficiency on attack and calmness and organization on defense. And I think that's where you then have this gap of where LAFC and Esperance are. First of all, going forward, you can tell Esperance have more to them. They have more players. They have more to them, right? However, finishing these plays, they just didn't quite have it. And on the finishing aspect, I even see this from, let's say, the gap from Brazilian teams, let's say, to the elite. You know, considering everything we've seen in this tournament. Whenever a European elite team goes forward, it takes one attack, one mistake by the defense to create an opening, and then you get punished. And that's the difference between a big team or an elite team and a non-elite team. And I think we're seeing that. And also the gap has shortened because, like I said, in these different standards of game, right? So passing, attacking, and so on. I think everybody else is kind of coming up in those ranks, right? So the physicality is the first thing. And now the passing. Everybody has crisp passing. Everyone can kind of keep possession. But other than that, Esperance, you have kept yourself alive. You have given yourself an Esperance. So be the Esperance de Tunis and try to get a result against Chelsea so that you may go through. LAFC, sadly, number 2 team eliminated from this tournament after Auckland City. And just a bit of a disappointing performance overall for LAFC. I think in the whole tournament, I think they didn't really get anything out of it. And I think looking at the groups, you expected anyone to kind of get anything out of it. Maybe you would say Inter Miami, but Inter Miami more so because of Messi. So is that really a good representation of the MLS? Now, I'm not going to say they misrepresented the MLS, but I think there's still some catching up to do. And that'll be it.